All right, my smartest artists, this is week 5 or lesson 5 for our distance learning in the art room. And this week we are gonna get into that art kit and we are gonna use our brand new watercolors. So before we get started, we're just gonna tap our Art Smart brain and we're gonna think back to some of those ways that we can take care of our art tools, and you can share that with maybe some siblings or some family members. So we're gonna review how to take care of our brush, doing ballerina brush, and also how to properly rinse a brush so that we're not tap dancing brushes, but we're dabbing brushes. So let's review that before we get started. All right, my smartest artists, so let's review how we can take care of our art tools while using them to create art. The first thing is you're gonna get this brand new brush in your watercolor set. And we've talked a lot about in the art room about how ballerina brush should always dance on her tippy toes. So when we're using the brush, we can see that this is fragile, the brush is, and we like to be able to use it on its tippy toes and flat. Ballerina brush never wants to scoot on her bottom where we are dragging it or pushing it flat on the paper. That will ruin the shape of the brush. Also, we haven't used watercolors a lot in the art room, so we want to be careful to notice the difference between the temper cakes and the watercolors. Watercolors are a lot softer. That means that we could push into it and make a dent, and that would ruin the watercolors. So these are definitely softer. When we use our brush with water, you can use any type of Tupperware, recycled yogurt cups, any type of cup in your house with water. Remember, we don't fill it to the top, we just do it halfway. You don't have to have one of these. But when we use our brush, we're going to dip it in the water and put a little bit of water on each color first. That way we're getting the watercolors ready with some water in them. Now, when you go to get the paint, you can load your brush with water. And then we want a ballerina brush, twirl the brush on its tippy toes to load the brush. And we've learned in the art room that the longer we twirl our brush, the more paint will be on the brush. And then when I go to the paper, I want to use gentle pressure on the paper. If I'm trying to do a very small area, it can dance on its tippy toes. If I want to paint a larger area, I can gently lay it on its side and cover more of the area using my brush flat. But I'm not scooting it on its bottom, I'm just brushing it flat on its side. We've also talked about the proper way to rinse our brush, so you can teach your family this. When we do it, we can gently swish, swish, dab, dab. Swish, swish, dab, dab. When we dab out the brush, we're getting the excess water out and we're being careful with our brush. We don't tap. No tap dancing brushes, because when we tap, what happens? Water gets all over the table, all over our art, maybe somebody else's art. So you guys love the dab still. So we swish, swish, dab, dab out your brush until it's clean. All right, my smartest artists, now that you have listened to the story Chicka Chicka Boom Boom and watched all the letters fall down from the tree, we are going to create some art using the letters of your name. So you need a piece of white paper that was at the bottom of your art kit. You need your watercolors that were in your art kit. And then for the letters, you can either use a black marker, Sharpie if you have it, a black oil pastel, or even a black crayon. And you can use your paper horizontal, or you can use it vertical. It's your choice. So the first part is you're going to write the letters of your name. So maybe you can have a family member help you write out the letters of your name on a piece of paper next to you. So my letters are E, V, E, R, E, T, T. But you're gonna use your own name. You're not gonna use my name. So I am going to start with the first letter, which is an E. And remember, in Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, the letters all fell down off the tree and they fell in a random order. So you're gonna put your letters in a random order. So you can put one in the middle, turn sideways. You can put them on their side. You want to fill up all of your space with those letters. Some might be upside down. So you should have your letters drawn pretty large and filling up your white space. And because we used either crowns, which are made of wax, or oil pastels, which are a form of wax, or a type of marker, when we get ready to paint, they won't smear because wax is resistant of water. The next thing you're gonna do is get your paints ready. Remember earlier in the video, we talked about how to care for our brush and our paints. So my watercolors are ready to go because they have water in each one. And then you're gonna decide the colors you wanna use. They get to be whatever you want to be. So I'm gonna start with red, and I'm gonna ballerina brush, dances on her tippy toes inside the paint. And I want kind of a bolder or brighter color, so I'm gonna twirl for a while. And I know that when I twirl for a long time, it loads the brush. Then I'm going to take my brush and ballerina brush, dances on her tippy toes, and I'm going to paint all around my letters. I can go back for more paint, and I'm going to have my paint hug the letters all the way around. When it starts to get light, that means I need to go back and get some more paint on my brush. So I used red to hug the letters on my paper. You're gonna do the same thing, and you're gonna do with each letter different colors. It's your choice. All right, now that you painted paint hugging your letters, we are going to add some patterns, and a pattern is something that repeats, repeats, repeats. So in your art kit, you have a baggie of, I think about 6 different oil pastels. You can use those, or you can use your brand new box of crayons. Both the crayons and the oil pastels will work in resisting the watercolor. So earlier this year, we learned that we could do a cool magic art trick using a white oil pastel or a white crayon, where we can make hidden patterns. You can do that. We could make hidden patterns on here and making spirals. So you can do some white patterns that repeat, repeat, repeat. Then you can also do some colors. I think I'm gonna make some diagonal lines around my T. And you're just gonna add patterns that repeat, repeat, repeat all around the rest of your white space. So go ahead and choose some colors and fill up the white space with patterns that repeat, repeat, repeat. All right, my smartest artists, when you are finished filling up all of the white space of your paper with all the different colors, you can see that your oil pastels or crayons resisted the watercolors. You can see those magical white patterns we made. You're gonna swish, swish, dab, dab out your paintbrush. You can set it in a tray of your watercolors. You might notice that with this paper, it might curl a little bit as it dries. After it's all dry, you can just put a book on it or a heavy magazine and let it sit there for a little bit, and it'll flatten the papers right back out. But you guys have created your Chicka Chicka Boom Boom name letter artwork using watercolors and oil pastels or crayons. So when you're done, take a picture of you holding your artwork and make sure you upload it onto your Art and Music Dojo portfolio under Watercolor Art Project.